here in No Cap November semifinals 3-2-1 Tetris. Now, technically speaking, I did dismiss Fractal and Sidnev, but if they are around after this match, I'm happy to finish it. Anything that we can do to get matches happening, it would be amazing. So, all right, we got a Spire here in the middle of the stack for Huffaluffagus, but a Tetris on the board, and there's another Tetris on the board for each of them. So they are 10 lines in, and they are playing Tetris for our enjoyment. Fractal says, I just want this all over with. Yeah, same. Game Scout says, this stream has been ruffaluffagus. Honestly, Scout, seriously. Scout has had so many dad jokes and dad puns the last month that I am convinced that there is a baby on the way, and somehow he's either not telling us or even he doesn't know it consciously yet. Tetris for Huff, 141, 139 for Myles the Great. Of course, Huff, a former CTM Masters event winner and a runner-up in the 2021 CTWC, which in my mind was probably the most difficult, challenging one, the most skilled player pool being online. Myles, of course, has not won a CTM Masters event yet, but he's got a cool picture of himself on his bureau. And he's really been playing amazingly. Same score, same lines, these players, by the way. He's been playing amazingly the last few months. So he's really a noticeable uptick in his skill and results. So really anybody's game. Thank you so much for the raid, LOL Pog series. I'm sure there's no equivalent of a raid on YouTube, right? 304 Huff, 261 for Myles. Myles with a big, 3 of those long bars piled up in column 1. Tetris, Huff, 326. So far we are an hour and 40 minutes into the stream, and we have done 2 games. Not two matches, 2 games. Is dog quitting CTM, says King to Kid. Not that I know of, but I'm sure if he was quitting, probably be the last one to know. He's like mad at me or CTM. He's not going to say, hey, I just want to let you know. People don't do that. It is No Cap November. Yes, I should say that at least at the beginning of every match. No Cap November means there is no level 39 super kill screen. Means we start on level 18, 130 lines of that, 100 lines of level 19, and then unlimited lines of level 29, basically as long as these players are able to keep going, so they can chase down really any deficit. I know that loading icon, I was like, oh God. For those of you watching the YouTube edits, we have had serious technical issues in both of our matches today. And it's coinciding with the first time we're ever simul-streaming to YouTube. And shockingly enough, these technical issues have nothing to do with me. Usually they do, especially if I'm trying to do something, different or new, then I'm going to mess it up. But this time, not me. Blue Scooty, thanks for the $10 contribution to the prize pool. 465 Myles, 567 Huffaluffagus. But speaking of dog, he does have a new song. He's a musician, if you didn't know that, and he has released a single. And I think you can find that link probably over on his Instagram. I think he had a little debut listening party on his stream like a week back. Huff is into 19 at 660. Well, he's got 663 now through 135 lines. So huge transition here for Huffaluffagus. Yes, dog has Instagram. That's where I saw it anyway. I think it was dog. I hope it was. Tetris Huff 738 Myles, 585 on 19. Huff is about 10 lines ahead in the sequence. Tetris Huff 792. Current prize pool stands at 1683.71. We're trying to get to 2,000. If you want to contribute to the prize pool, go to ctm.gg/Matcherino, Matcherino, and you can contribute to the prize pool. In fact, that's how the prize pool gets funded, 100% by the fans. And if you're watching this, presumably you are a fan. So get over to ctm.gg/Matcherino. Let's get us to 2,000. If we do that, we can pay the top 8 instead of the top 4, which is huge. 835 for Huffaluffagus, 677 for Myles the Great. All right, another Tetris for Huff, 894. Myles back. There's 1049 from A Massive Zebra. Thank you so much. That got us to up to 169 420. It's very mature. Massive Zebra. Thank you so much for the contribution. I can't leave that on the screen because now someone won't want to ruin that. So they need to know that that isn't there. 989 Huff. There's a Tetris. Got the max out Huffaluffagus. He's over 200,000 points ahead. All right, a little bit of a slowdown here for Huff. Myles kind of crawling back. Huff waiting for a bar when he's open for one and finally is and gets the Tetris. Now just trying to chop down that whole thing. Does not want a rough board going into 29. So he's just going to take the burns and he's got the lead and he can chase down anything. Let's see how these players do with the post 29. 1.1 for Huff, with one Tetris available before 29. And just needs that long bar to transition. Myles has the max out. Tetris Huff B57. He's actually building and trying to keep that well open. Ends up taking the triple for safety. Myles one Tetris away is set up for it. Takes a skim and a Tetris A53 for Myles into 29. And Myles still going for it. He's still building up, and he's going to get another Tetris A96. He's at B06 now. Both players at the 1.1. Huff just a couple of line clears away from the 1.2. Huff's board climbing a little bit. He's going to take that down. Myles kind of work in the middle of that stack. Just bringing it down, does not forcing anything. That right side does need a long bar for that right side and gets it, but that doesn't clear anything. So Myles is climbing a little bit. All right, he's taking it down. Gets a long bar over to the right. This is tough for Myles. Or not tough for Myles, but tough for us to watch it. We think it's tough. It's pretty easy. Like, these players are so good. He's going to set up for that triple and get it. B65. Huff in the lead. C41. Another long bar over to the right side. Myles. Oh, no, that left side. So Myles needs something for that left. And I don't know what he can do. And the answer is, well, he can skate a J over to the left, but that's it. Myles going to top out. So a couple of misdrops there. And Huffaluffagus is good and takes game number 1. Three, two, one, Tetris. Last Damnation says a game has been completed with no further technical issues. It's a miracle. Yes, indeed. Harold, by the way, thank you for the 3, 2, 1 countdown bits. And it's a good opportunity to say hello to our friends over on YouTube. So we got Aptiz712, Thelemic Magic, Jacob, DJ173, Lof Mohizamez, Siab, St. Nicholas, Subman Stan, Darth TV, Mystery Meat, The King to Kid, Cobalt is there. If you want me to say hello to you, then chat. Dan V. Weller is here. And basically same score, same lines for these players. There you go. Same score, same lines. 117, 420 through 24 lines. This alt is here. Welcome. Not Zembro with the 14 bits on Twitch. Buzz and Bang with the Twitch bits. Ivan with the Twitch bits as well. Bits for all the hard work. Vandy. Oh, the hard-working Vandies. Got it. 185, 820. Both players with the same lines and the same score. Huff going to break the streak there with a single. Frank, welcome. Hello. Zempro. Zixv, hello. All right, that's all the YouTube. But yeah, we'll set up channel memberships, I guess, on Twitch. On YouTube, so that you can. Oh, last second adjustment there for Myles, and that was very interesting. I'm not sure that was exactly what he was trying to accomplish, but looks like it's going to work out. Huff is in the lead, 257. But yeah, I guess we can set up channel memberships on YouTube, and that will give you emotes and whatever. Although I don't think people use emotes on YouTube the same way on Twitch. Myles with a little misdrop there and able to Tetris afterward and bring the stack down. Huff kind of sitting and waiting for the bar. Taking some skims. And there we go. Tetris, Huffaluffagus 308. Myles sitting at 269, 420. Hey now. Man, I'll tell you guys, I'm exhausted already. I am so tired. C-Dubs with the tier 1 sub on Twitch says, holy cannoli. Yes, indeed. Oh, I could go for a cannoli right now. I'm 48 hours into a fast. Cannoli sounds delicious. Tetris for Huff, 405, 308 for Myles. Oh, thanks, St. Nicholas. Victor Amor says, finals today. Yes, indeed, if we can get to them without continued technical issues. All right, Huff waiting out these pieces. Huff still over, despite all this burning, still over 100,000 points ahead. And there's a Tetris at the bottom of the stack for Huff, but now has some more gaps to clear out. Myles is unhappy. Or at least displeased for the moment. I don't know if he's unhappy in life. I think he's a happy kid. $402, $420 for Myles. $476, $520 for Huffaluffagus. Huff setting up column 7. Everybody's saying hi, Vandy. What's up? Not Zempro and Zempro backup channel, and Zempro's ghosts, and Zempro's ghost, and Zempro's ghost. Thelemic Magic, €2. Thank you for the super chat. Says, for years of mind-boggling Tetris. Yeah, the mind being boggled right now is mine. 549 or 551 for Huff into level 20. 482 for Myles. Yes, you can super chat, or super chat, super thanks, and just super stickers, I guess, that you can do on YouTube. And thanks to those of you who have done that so far. And there's more Zempros. How many alts do you have on YouTube, Zempro? My word. And why? Oh, kind of a misdrop there for Huff near the, well, at the top of the stack. Long bar over to the right to clear some of this away. Okay, that's going to open up a square-shaped hole. And all right, Huff looks like he's back down to safety. That was scary for a moment. Mari says, get in those super chats. Thanks for the $5 super chat. Appreciate it, Mari. I like super chats. $614, now $644 Huff, $659 Myles in the lead and behind a little bit in lines. All right, there we go. Some funky delayed burn there for Myles. Just trying it on, you know? Tetris Myles 730. Huff back in the lead at 740. Of course, Huff a little bit ahead in lines as well, so call it neck and neck. Myles setting up for the Tetris. That's square. Column 8, 9. Taking the skims. Oh, covers well at the last moment and gets another bar. So there you go. Zempro, thanks for the $5.01, says, I will not get in those super chats. Frank has a lot of alts like Ninja, Amaranth, Super Saiyan, and Prime Video. That's all Frank. My word. Huff gets a long bar over to the left side. Dirty Tetris. Huff setting up again, or is that a misdrop? Not sure, but in the end, it's going to be a Tetris setup, and he gets the Tetris. He's just going to take this down to have a good board going into 29, and does. 926 into 29 for Huffaluffagus. Going to take that triple, not messing around. Myles gets a Tetris into 29, 952. So Myles has the higher 29 transition. And now they are just super close. There is no 39 super kill screen. So a lot of activity, but no urgency for the post 29. Myles setting up for another Tetris, but ends up having to skim the top away and just going to take this down. 984 Myles, 963 Huff. These players going to wait each other out. Of course, if you never top out you can't ever lose. And I think that's the thinking here of playing very conservatively. Myles with the max out. He's got the A44, Huff 993. But of course, you know, easier said than done. And I think sometimes you just feel like, okay, I want to build for a Tetris, and then it doesn't work out. Or you're just not used to singling and doubling. These guys, you know, maybe aren't. Huff with the max out A12. Myles now with the 1.1. Like, oh, okay, that J to the left, not going to work out for Myles, so we're going to have to build around that. Maybe in this format, triples are the new Tetris. Myles with about a 90,000 point lead. And Myles has a Tetris well covered, and there's a Spire. And this is going to be a top out for Myles. He tops out at B43. The target for Huff, B44. And he's got all day. And given how this stream has gone, it's going to take all day. So what do you guys think? Do you like the endings where it's just kind of a player, the board spiraling out of control? Or do you like the endings, you know, where we have the 39 super kill screen and the players are really just trying to cram every bit of efficiency into every moment? B20 for Huff needs 23,000 more points. Actually set up for a triple here. A little squirrely. Kind of making us squirm a bit. Just 2,000 points to go. He gets the double, and that is going to clinch it here in game number 2 for Huffaluffagus. The board was climbing, and it really looked dangerous for Huff, but able to clutch out that double. I was not optimistic he was going to get that one, but he did. Huff up 2-0 over Myles. 3-2-1 Tetris. Well, I don't have a Honda Fit anymore. I had a 2012 Honda Fit that I slept in for a year. Right now I sold that to a friend. Got a great deal. I mean, I'm the nicest friend. I gave him a great deal. And then now I have my 2005 Honda Pilot. Huff is set up with the delayed Vits. Gets the long bar to tuck in there. Now waiting out another bar for the Tetris and gets it. 3, 2, 1 countdown bits from Harold. Thank you very much. Buzz and Bangs with the 4444444. Thanks, Buzz and Bangs. Professor L says we could have the "What does everyone drive" conversation in chat. There you go. What does everyone drive? You don't have to say the year unless you don't want to, and you don't have to even say anything. But what do you drive? If you drive. 2018 Chevy Trax, a Jeep Liberty 07, 2006 Impreza, 2004 Accord. One says a bicycle. Zebra says, my Pilot is older than many of these players. That's true. 2012 Honda Accord, an 08 BMW 335XL E92. Everyone's got a scooter. All right. I like it. 106 Huffaluffagus, 164 for Myles. Yes, thank you very much, Professor L. Professor L goes way back in the community. Before Vandy, really. I feel like it's really like the only people remaining. It's like me and Professor L from back in those days are like the only people who've stuck around the whole time. Like, who else is really still around? Like, active. 244 Myles, 147 Huffaluffagus. C-Dub says, hey, Vandy, look, I've been lurking since 2019. 2019? You're just a baby. Talking 2017. 2018. Tetris Myles, 291, 173 for Huffaluffagus. Hey, what's up, Cobra? Louis Scooey, that's true. Louis Scooey is around. So Myles up by 140,000 points. Oh, Ava says, I've been around since this was fridaywitch's tournament. So there you go. 2019 Dodge Journey and a 2004 Buick Regal. My first car was a 1984 Buick Regal. Had a big back seat. 238 Huff, 385 Myles. We are this deep in the playlist, and this is only the fifth game that we've done. I am so tired. I'm so tired. Oh my God. I'm going to do my best. I've become such a wimp. Like we used to back in the day, used to do the tournament all in one day. It would take 10 hours. Numerous technical problems, but I've become a big wimp. $297 Huffaluffagus, 524 for Myles. So a big lead for Myles. Over 200,000 points. Another Tetris for Huff. There's another one. Myles has two available. Got one of them. And looking for that 600K transition that we all love so much. All right, he's set up now. Oh no, Huff, that left side for Huff, that is not going to be survivable. That's going to be a top out for Huff, and Myles is going to take game number 3. Huff just built up too high and then had to get something over to the left, hung something, and then just couldn't get anything over. And Myles is good. Myles looking to tie it up. 3-2-1 Tetris. Professor L says you could also always just stop talking. Oh man, that's harsh. Harold says 3-2-1 rooting for a decider. I'm sure everybody would love that. Professor L. That sounded mean. In my head, that sounded really mean. It's like, you could just stop talking. Has there ever been a huge streamer that rated monthly Tetris channel? Sometimes. Not a huge, well, yeah, I mean, well, I don't know. I'm trying to remember now. Someone with a 4-digit viewer. Yeah, we've gotten that. I don't remember. But I know that that's happened. All right, Tetris for Myles here, 98,000, 117, 420 for Huffaluffagus. I know I got rated personally by like one of the largest streamers in Germany. What was his name? Nasi or Kanasi or the real Kanasi or whatever. And it was like 25,000 people. And I was streaming to like 3 people at the time, and they just wanted to find like, oh, what's a game that we can raid? Oh, Tetris. So they just raided whoever they could find playing Tetris, and I guess I was the only one at that time. So yeah, I got raided by the real Kanasi, who apparently is not only just a streamer, but some TV personality in Germany. And it was like 25,000 viewers, and a lot of them are like super toxic. And they're all just demanding things like, oh, we need you to react to this. And they were just sending me like really nasty videos to like react to. It was not a good time. $224 Myles, $323 Huffaluffagus. Like they're like, oh, send him this video, and it was the time a viewer, like streamers will have a PO box or whatever it is in Germany, and people will send stuff to it. Or I guess somebody sent him like a box of poop, and so there was that clip or whatever, and they wanted me to react to him opening a box of poop, like that kind of stuff. So stupid. Tetris for Huff, 392, 293 for Myles. But that was the biggest raid I've ever personally gotten, but that wasn't to this channel. And I'm not really like a reaction person. I'm not gonna like, oh bro, like I'm not gonna sit there and do that. So like, what? Are you serious? My God, I'm not gonna do that. Tetris for Huff, 466, 308 for Myles the Great. Huff trying to wrap this up right now. Myles trying to force a reverse sweep situation decider. Yeah, there was something in that raid where they wanted me to I guess this guy makes like music videos too, and there was something called Iga, and they kept wanting me to say Iga. I don't know what that even is, but I remember that. I'm probably saying something terrible in German. But they really wanted me to say it. 419 for Myles, 568 for Huffaluffagus. Bagella Sonic says, wow, finally streaming on YouTube. I'm glad that Twitch allows to simul stream. 614 for Huff. One more Tetris available before the level 19 transition. He's going to use that long bar to clean up his stack. Take the Tetris. Myles is in at 467. Huff in at 639. Another Tetris for Huff. Myles gets one. About 173,000 point lead. A stand. Tetris Huff 691. Myles back by about 150,000 points, but when there's no cap, I mean, you can just chase that forever. Poyo says, what's the difference between concentrate and focus? A lot of people use that interchangeably. I think they're slightly different. 806 for Huff, 631 for Myles. I think concentrate is just undivided attention on a single topic. And focus is kind of the mental act of I think you can be focused but not concentrating. And I think you can be concentrating without being focused. 873 Huff, 719 for Myles. Mari says, all right, I'm back on the purple website. Missing the emotes. Yeah, we'll get those emotes on YouTube. I don't know if there's as big of a emote culture on YouTube though. But we'll set that up when we set up channel memberships. 936 Huff. Tetris for Myles, 784. Another Tetris Myles. Max out for Huff going into 26 and another Tetris. Another Tetris Huff. A66 on 26. So 180,000 point lead. The 1.1 for Huff on 27. So really has not slowed down. What did he transition at? Like 660 something? All right, Huff building up here, waiting out the bar. Gonna have to take a triple. Myles gonna clean away that right side. Gonna open the well up and does. If Myles just takes a nice safe board in. Huff in at 1.2. Myles in with the max out. So over 200,000 point lead right now for Huff. Myles needs to win this game to stay in the tournament. He's back by 200,000 points. And again, you can just line out forever. So it's kind of Huff strategy here. Both have really the same strategy. Just play for a while and don't top out. Myles in trouble. Oh, gets out, can't get that long bar over to the right. This is going to be a top out for Myles, and Huffaluffagus is going to take the game and the match. GG's. You know, I always feel bad when like one player has technical issues that like delays the match, but then ends up winning, and the other player is nice, and I don't know. I always end up feeling weird about it. But you know, these two players have been here every single month. Great sports, and hope to see Myles again. It wasn't your month, but a good run. And I'm sure we will see you again. And one of these days, you're going to take one of these down. So Huff, you are good. Oh, he might not even be listening. So I got to give him the heart. So we'll watch him chase this down. This is a good 1.3 going into 35. And then we'll see if you are around Fractal and Sidnev. Now, if it's too late or if you guys are just too wiped, I would totally understand that just because of the delays and all that. All right, Fractal is live. All right, Fractal just wants to get it over with. All right, we'll watch Huff a little bit. It's not a full redo. We left it at 1-1, so we will pick that up. Hello, sir. We prefer doing things our own way. Oh man, I'm just choking here.